Hello, person who had this video start autoplaying. Hopefully the stream actually works. I assume last time it was because of Phasmophobia being, like, poorly coded. I hate to say it, but it kind of just is. I don't know. At least for VR, it's pretty goddamn awful. It, like, crashed my OBS, so it ran twice. I didn't even figure that out until, like, a couple minutes ago. So, yeah. You could see... I deleted the, like, 2-minute VOD, but the beginning of the one last time was like, oh, why is Windows making noises? It's because the stream, like, crashed and went back up somehow. I don't even know, man. It is kind of wild. But I'm just trying to be productive before I, burn out on coding, because I have well, actually, no, I only have one programming assignment per week, but they're typically really difficult. And then I also have, like, a math one that's, like, it's under the computer science major, but it's not really computer science, so it's like, okay. And then I got calculus, so I'm trying to be as productive as I can without freaking dying from work, because I don't know, I'm always trying to work for some reason. Like, I could be using this time to relax. I could, just, like, I don't know, not run a bot and, like, not have to stress about this, but you know what? I'm doing it anyways. I don't know if it's... I don't know. I'm not gonna think about it. Anyway. Reruns. Yeah, speaking about stress, actually, reruns is the reason that should combat some of the stress, because if you don't know what the reruns, somehow I always mix that up, a R and a W whenever there's two next to each other. Seems like a very common thing, at least not uncommon. Reruns are polls that have already been sent, but are really good and haven't been seen by the majority of people. So we want to reuse those polls because there's some really good polls, and I can't keep making unique polls. They're just I've made almost 600 so far, and like I'm dying. I'm just dying. So last time we coded in time loop the rerun actual sending as backup, but we actually want to code it as a normal thing instead of just being a backup. So that would be right here, I believe. So yeah, we still have to do this. I listed a bunch of to-dos. That's why this list is up here, just so we could keep track of what we actually need to do. So the first thing I wanted to do, because it's very easy to test and like quite important, is we need to make the poll queue say what sort of, like, what rerun is coming next, basically. So in order to do that, we need to check the day of the week that it is and like insert for that day the rerun, which it shouldn't be too hard, but it'll be a little difficult because we have to refactor some things in here, because right now, like, for example, it just stops if there's no poll next. I don't want to do that. I want to instead, I don't know, say the next rerun, or maybe just stay the same. I have no clue. Something like that. But what I plan to do is, I think probably like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Of course, we can increase this if needed, but we want a specific number of days to show a rerun in the poll queue. So in order to do that, I labeled it here. We need to get the current rerun, the last rerun poll. And we need to get the next rerun poll. So let's do that. I was already looking at this code before I started, so I kind of already have a vague understanding what I need to do. So to get that, I need the bot data. I do get the bot data here, but I immediately overwrite it. So instead, I want to actually define bot data and set it in case it's Discord wide. And then poll num will just be bot data current poll. We might actually need bot data, do we? I think we just need the last rerun time as well. So let's just use that. Last rerun time. Or is it just last rerun? I keep forgetting the name of it. It's the last rerun poll. Okay. Let's do that. Let's not set bot data, but let's just have it in here. Bata bot data. There we go. Nice. So we have the last rerun poll now. So we need to use this to determine what the next poll is going to be. So we have a nice little loop here. Right now, the loop just gets the poll in the poll queue, which is kind of different than what we're going to be doing. We still need the poll queue, though, but we already have that, so we're good. But we need to grab a specific poll from the poll queue, rather than the current one. So we need to check if Discord wide, and let's also, we should technically have a config for this, but let's make like an array. Let days rerun days equal an array of days. 0 is Sunday, so we want it to run Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday is 6 and 7. So 1, 3, 5. And it's labeled like this because we can easily check, or maybe not easily, but we could check if we could check what day it sends at, which get poll timestamp does, but it doesn't let us like grab it. Right now, get poll timestamp is very specific. Open it up. Like current day timestamp, current hour, it calculates the days and hours. So like we need this. We need to grab this so we can then take that timestamp and check what the hell date it is. So relative position, date format, send times. We need to do something with this. Or we could just copy paste it, but we can refactor it a little later. I think we'll just refactor it later. So we just need to figure out what day, or, poll date is of the current poll. So the way we did it is a kind of wacky formula. It's not like complicated, but it works. So current day timestamp equals math.ceiling, because it has a weird occasional rounding error. So this is the only part that actually matters. All it's doing is it's just getting the current date, and it's just subtracting how many seconds we've gone into the current date, so it just rounds right back down to UTC midnight. That's all it's doing. So this is getting UTC midnight of the current date. We then need to take like the days later, which is relative position, multiply that, which will add an extra day, and then hours later. So we just have to calculate that sort of stuff, and then we have to check which day it is. So how might we do that? kind of don't want to stick all this code in here because it's a lot of, repeated code. I don't want to redo this. So I think maybe we'll just make a new function. We'll do a function get pull date. We'll get the relative position. We will get send time? Maybe? I mean, send times isn't going to need this, but if we were to then use get pull date within here, I think we might need to. If no send time. A little complex. I need to understand my code again. So when we call it, we send times with it. Send times equals the server data pull times. That only runs for servers, doesn't it? Could have sworn it did. Don't mind me. I'm just trying to figure out my code again. I don't want to redo things. I don't want to have code that repeats because that sucks. Let's just do what we were planning to do. We want to return something like, well, we'll just copy paste this stuff. So we'll get the current date, the current hour. Do we even use the current hour? Where's that used? Oh, that's used in the send times. Okay. Yeah. So we just need the days later. Oh, but the send times dot length. Oh boy. Server pull times. Add date in question. And it grabs... Wait a second. It grabs it every single time? Wait. Get queue embed. Why is it grabbing it every single time? This might be just a very badly written, because I'm calling this up to 10 times for one embed when it's the same information every single time. That's bad. I mean, it's not catastrophic, but it's not great. I know what I'm doing, trust me. You could trust me with a bot in your server, I swear. No, this is the dev, well, I mean, it is the live version, but it's tested, it works. It's just not as efficient as it could be, okay? A lot of things could be different here. But why is... Oh, it's because this. Set that to 0 for a little bit so this doesn't format weirdly. So, send times. I'm just kind of confused because send times, like, doesn't exist for my server. Wait, so when I make a Discord-wide poll then, I think maybe it tries to get it, and then it's null, so when it passes in send times here, then it's like, oh, there's no send times. Alright, let's just do it normally. So I wonder if I were to set up my server to have server poll times, would it just break, like, really badly? Because I feel like that would affect how many times it sends a Discord-wide poll. Which is very strange. I don't know why I coded it like this. Because sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I coded it like this because of this. This time, I think I'm the opposite. Why did I code it like this? This is specifically for, like, server stuff. And it's getting called every single time. Okay. So, send times It's only used here, and it doesn't exist for the Discord-wide poll. So we should instead have it up here. So if Discord-wide, we want send times to equal nothing. We don't even want to set send times, but we'll just set to null. Otherwise, if it's a server-wide poll, then we need to grab the server data, which we do not have at this point in time, do we? No, we do. Server data. Yeah, it's a lot of redundant code, huh? Server data. Okay, so we have the server data. So I don't know why I grab it twice. Look at that. So completely useless grabbing it here. I just need to take the server data, set send times to equal server data dot and what's it called? Server poll times. Just like that. And that will get rid of the need for that. So that clears up quite a lot of database grabbing, which isn't a lot. I mean, we have a caching system now, so it doesn't affect performance like all that much, but that is something that it does, you know, affect a little bit, right? You don't want to call the database for nothing. So we now have the question string, and it just gets the poll timestamp, all good there. So what we need to do is we need to still get the poll date. So how might we do that? This is specifically for reruns. So let's label the reruns. Display rerun poll. Yeah, so it gets a little complex because I have to now keep track of two different values instead of just this I. I have to keep track of a secondary value where it's the actual poll increment, because the rerun shouldn't increment the poll. Because imagine I have 3 polls queued up, but in the middle of that, you know, poll number 2 is supposed to be a rerun. I don't want it to skip poll number 2. I want poll number 2 to now be poll number 3. So that kind of has to do a little bit of remembering what poll it's on. So we're gonna have to do that. I think it also has to remember what poll rerun it's on too. So honestly, I don't think we were going to be using I think we're going to have to make two completely new variables for this. Which is fine, fair enough. I mean, that's how we're going to do it. I'm just wondering, what should we start with? Like, we can start with the dates, or we could start with, like, remembering what day it's on, but we do kind of need the date. Yeah, we'll have to figure out the date then. So let's see what we could do here. So current day timestamp, current hour, and then let's decipher this. Try to decipher it. So if there's no send times, it just takes the relative position, the days later. But if there is a send time, then we'll check, is the current poll, or is the next poll, or wait, I'm getting confused now. Send times indicates that it's a server-wide poll. Yeah, okay, so send times indicates server-wide poll. And server-wide polls are formatted a little differently because we don't save the history of those polls. So we just have to check if the current poll has already been sent out. Poll number 1. If it hasn't, then it increments how many it's already sent, then it kind of increments the day, does all that. I think this already works. I already tested this out. But it's not useful because we don't actually need this. Server-wide polls will never have a rerun in them. So there's never going to be anything affecting this. So we just need the poll date of a normal poll. So we need to return like a new date object. Yeah, we need to return a date object. Let's see how we construct that real quick. JavaScript. Date JavaScript. Let's switch over web browsers. Let me set the window like that. So we have the date object here. Hello, my favorite viewer. The date object, like, we have to construct it with the timestamp, and I kind of forget how to do that. I think you just pass it in, don't you? What if I pass in, hold on, it's just console.log date.now. If I do date, have I seen Dream's face reveal? Yeah, I did, just like an hour ago. Really hiding the other side of his face for some reason. A little strange, but yeah. It's, you know, face. I mean, he looks better than I imagined, though. I'll give it to him. Pretty great. What do I want to do here? I wanted to... New date value. Yeah, you could pass in quite a few things. An integer value representing the number of milliseconds. That's exactly what I need. Yeah, so passing this in should give us the actual date for that time. Have you seen the ones where he's like chunky? Like the memes? I mean, I think I kind of remember memes kind of being like that, but that was like months ago. I haven't seen like anything on it right now. So I'm not quite sure. Crap, there's get day and then get UTC day. What's the difference? Get day returns the day of the week for the specified date according to local time. Do we want local time? I don't think we do. No, I think we need to get UTC day. We'll get UTC day. Let's see. Printed 1. What's today? Sunday. Yeah, so that works. Cool. Check the group chat. Okay, I'll check the group chat. Let's see. Oh. I might have seen something like that, yeah. Just like the fake face reveals. Yeah. Like people thought they doxed him or whatever. But we do have this working. This is the timestamp for today, but the UTC day is 1, which is Monday, and that's all good. So, actually just put that in. Get UTC day. Current date timestamp plus relative position times a day. I think. Yeah, I believe so. You're pretty sure that is Dream, but 6 years ago. Oh. Well, damn, good for him. If it is, I mean, I don't know, it might just be a fake photo. I have no clue. I don't really follow any of that stuff. It kind of sent it. I'll be honest, it does seem like a Twitter thing to be following that. Like, it seems like Twitter would be the type of people to be like, oh yeah, this is the guy. But yeah. The lips are exactly the same and his eyes are pretty similar in color. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's oddly specific, but yeah, maybe. I haven't checked myself, so I cannot confirm nor deny that, but yeah, who knows? Comes in a full video. You'll send that too. Okay. I mean, I don't really pay attention to Dream. I mean, the last thing I heard about him was just the cheating thing, and then him saying, "Oh, it's the modder that accidentally bumped it up," which is a sucky situation. I don't blame him for that. But yeah, I think this is all we need to get the current poll date, which is honestly really simple. So I guess we'll just use it. So what it's doing is it's just doing literally what it does for the dates. It just adds an extra day for each poll because there's always 24 hours between polls. It'll get the UTC date. It'll return that date, but actually let's not return that. We'll do it in the actual code. So get poll date will be poll handler dot get poll date once I actually export it. Right above get poll timestamp, get poll date. Oh, and no parentheses. There we go. Cool. So that should now have something cool. And then we just pass in the actual position, which is I right now, but it's not going to be I. So we need to do the thing where we keep track of both the rerun number and the poll number that we're on, which sucks, but we're gonna have to do that. So I don't know how to name it because we're already using pollnum. Pollnum is used, so Q pollnum. Sure. Q pollnum equals 0, and then we'll set rerun pollnum equals 0. And then we'll keep track of those poll day. Well, we're keeping track of which poll we're on. Poll day is technically I right now. Because I is going to be, every single day it says which poll we'll send that day. But we need to keep track of the reruns and the actual polls separately so they don't overwrite each other. So rerun days, we got the poll date. So something like if it's Discord wide and poll date includes, rerun days includes poll date. I think I used the right function, right? Determines whether an array contains a certain element. Yes! Just got it right this time. I always mix up includes, contains, and I always mix up splice, slice, and split. It's like, it's the dumbest stuff. They're all named the same. They all mean the same freaking thing intuitively. They have to memorize it. But rerun days doc includes. So when we check this, it'll check, is it either Monday, Wednesday, or Friday for UTC? If it is, then it will send a rerun. I'll keep that there, but we don't need this comment. Otherwise, it'll just add the normal question string. But we do need to check which rerun it'll be. So we do have the rerun poll number right here. But you remember last time, we have to check if the rerun is usable. So we have to make a loop. until we find a reusable one. So let's take a look at time loop. Let's just see what we did here. If pull is not reusable and it's not a backup, then do all that. Yeah, so we have to do a loop for this, which is fine. Let I equal bot data last rerun pull plus 1. You're effectively just going to be doing the same thing time loop's doing right now. We just have to loop over it. We check if the pull is usable. Something like that. Copy paste this. And then we have to do actually all the checks for it too. So it might be worth it to just like make this a function as well in pull handler, because we're using it like word for word in 2 different places, because this one also needs to check, you know, if the reactions are valid and if everything's good. So we might as well make it a function. So let's get that in here. So function get next rerun. And that will take a pull queue. I think so. I mean, something like this already grabs the pull queue. Get pull. So get next rerun. Well, let's just copy paste it for now. Let's just take this entire thing and put it in here. So let I equal last rerun pull, all that, but it can't update the pull. Okay, that'll make a little bit of a challenge. So we still need to know what position it is in, so we don't run that pull again, because it might skip a pull, and if we just add 1, it's just gonna find the same pull again. So we're gonna have to like return 2 different things. Yeah, this is getting a little complex. We definitely don't want to do this in here, though. Definitely a pull handler sort of thing. So it's going to check the last rerun pull. It's going to check the next one. It'll go through. Again, it'll overflow if it's too close. And then possible pull, it'll grab. But it does need the pull queue. So let's pass in a pull queue. So it'll use that pull queue, so we don't have to keep grabbing it every single time, because this function might be run a few times in here. So no point in, you know, asking for it a bunch of times. So get next rerun, and then we'll pass in the last rerun pull. So instead of that's the only time it's actually used, we just do that. Okay. So we'll pass in those 2 things. Sold the most cake rolls. Hell yeah. Nice. I don't even know what a cake roll is. I mean, it's like a very generic word, so I like can't visualize it very well. But everyone's gonna have to go to parents and family. But you sold it to every teacher possible. Yeah, I mean, that's some business marketing right there. Learning real world skills. You just find people that are hungry. Or, you know, support the cause, because, you know, you're a student, so it makes sense. But yeah, this already does kind of that everything? We just need to return the poll instead of actually using the poll. And then we also need to... There's a poll number here. It doesn't use poll num, does it? You just double check. Okay, no, it doesn't. Poll num is not being used. Just a cake rolled with frosting in the middle. Oh, kind of like the Little Debbie sort of chocolate ones, I guess. Forget what those are called, but one of those. I see what you mean, yeah. Okay, but we will get the non-reusable pull and return it, but we still need the pull position, which is the difficult part. So if we could just pass another object with the pull in it, get next rerun, but then it's like kind of like a tube. Oh, and that wasn't a typo, that was oob. An ube, or I don't know what that is. I'm gonna look it up though. Ube. Oh, here's my thing. Yeah, let's look it up. A purple yam? Nah. There ain't no way. It ain't no yam, is it? I don't think it was. Maybe. I have no clue. An ube? It's gotta be a different dish, right? Also, I realized I wasn't actually on the coding thing. I was actually on the web browser. Ube cake. Okay, so it is a purple yam cake roll. Okay. I think I know what you mean then. Yeah, it is the freaking little... Hold on, I'm gonna figure it out. Little Debbie Swiss roll. Yeah, it's a Swiss roll. Yeah. Yeah, it's basically this, right? I also like how it says, what is the unhealthiest Little Debbie snack? What could it possibly be? I do like how that's one of the top questions, though. That's a good question they're asking. Actually, I'm kind of curious. What is it? Cosmic brownies. Oh, I see. Damn. Alright. Cosmic brownies are the worst. I actually have some of those in my pantry right now. I just haven't touched them because they're just too much. I used to like them, but then I'm like, oh my god, dude, I cannot. I just can't. It's just too much. Yeah, I've just been like making actual brownies instead, like Betty Crocker brownies. I don't know if that's worse or better than the cosmic brownies, but they taste a lot better. I'll tell you that much. We do need the poll numbers still, though, and I hate making an object like this because it's like kind of weird. But I also don't want to pass it in as in the object, so we kind of have to. I don't know if there's an easy way to pass in like two objects. But the poll num will equal I. So, I mean, both of the functions that are going to use this both need the poll number and the poll, so kind of makes sense. That's in time loop, actually. Or if all that. But we actually don't need any of this. We just need this part that I removed initially. Delete all of that. Let rerun equal poll handler dot get rerun, which we haven't actually put in here yet. that. It makes more sense if I put it right next to the git pull. Just to make it look better. Seen the brownies with broccoli in them. No, I have not. I have never. Yeah, I don't think it would help either. Or at least not help that much. Because you're still, like, eating the same amount of sugar and everything. You just might have a little bit of extra whatever the hell vitamins broccoli's got. I don't know. Broccoli is one of my favorite vegetables, though, because it's, like, good compared to the others. Like, it ain't that bad. Like, vegetables, they don't taste great. Unless you're, like, doing whatever the hell they do with Brussels sprouts, where it's all, like, butter and shit. And it's like, okay, that's not really vegetables anymore. Now it's just butter. But that's really, really good. But, like, plain vegetables, I think broccoli is probably top tier. Spinach sucks. For some reason, I can't think of that many more vegetables. I mean, lettuce is pretty freaking top tier too, but I don't know the nutrition kind of difference between that and broccoli. But man, I really miss there was a buffet place that like had a bunch of salad stuff. They went out of business during COVID. But God, they had the best salads. They had the best dressing too. Like, you'd put all the eggs and shit on the salad. Oh my God, it was so good. Now there's none left. It's so sad. Your favorite celery. Ooh. Ooh, I cannot even eat celery. Celery is so rancid. It's like... Celery is like... I don't know, it's like super strong for me. But you'll never eat peas. Peas are okay. They're not great, but... Not like I've really eaten them plain, if I'm being honest. But celery is one of those things that's just way too much. Not for me, I'll be honest. Broccoli and lettuce, that's about it. Can't do much more than that. Like, even carrots. Carrots are like... They have like the consistency of nuts. Like... You keep chewing it, but it's like, it feels like it's not chewed fully through. And I just hate that. It's just so god-awful. That's why I don't like nuts at all. Almonds, freaking anything in that family, just can't. That and, you know, usually nuts go with like soft foods for some reason. I hate when it does that. Like, I don't want crunchy stuff in my soft stuff. It's just so gross. Especially because it doesn't add much taste to it either. When you were younger, you would eat rhubarb out of your grandma's backyard. Damn. Aren't those basically water? Little bit of delay. Carrots and celery. Yeah, basically. Well, carrots, I would say quite a bit less so. Lettuce is frickin' water. Lettuce is a goddamn watery freaking vegetable. Celery is literally like a stock for water. I don't know about carrots though. Carrots is like actually got substance. But broccoli is one of the better ones, I'll be honest. Just can't do anything different with it. Rerun.pull. And look at that, it passes in the pull and pull number. Rerun dot pull num. Yeah, that's why we need the pull num, because we have to override it. And then in pull, we're actually going to need to keep track of it so we can keep checking, you know, past that. But they're all like 95% water. Yeah, I guess. But broccoli, though? I mean, I guess a lot of things are freaking a bunch of water. How much water are we? 70%? Like, that's wild. That's kind of wacky. I don't feel like 70% water, but I guess I am. Stay hydrated, by the way. I do actually have water here. I don't usually drink it during the stream because I don't get to talk while I'm drinking. And I don't have a webcam, so it's like hard to tell. Last rerun poll, I no longer exists. That's actually going to be poll number as well. And that should completely do that. So time loop reruns is nice and short now. And then we can also make the poll reruns nice and short as well. So let rerun, actually just grab it the same exact way. Do that. Except we do have to pass in the poll queue and the last rerun poll, which would be in bot data.last rerun poll and then poll queue. And then in here, we already have it as a variable. Lastly, rerun poll. Poll queue. If I could position the U's and the E's correctly, there we go. So that gives us the rerun. And we just have to, like, take the rerun. I don't know, it's a little difficult. I'm trying to figure out how I should format this. So display rerun poll. Well, we'll just leave it like that. Display rerun poll if it's that date. Otherwise, it'll just stop, which we actually don't want anymore, because there might be a rerun. So if it were to stop when there isn't a poll, then we won't be able to see what the reruns are going to be. So we might just have to remove that functionality altogether. Remove that functionality. I think we're going to have to do that. But there is a way to, you know, check if there is a rerun in the next few days, but that's like another check and might as well do it later. We'll see how it actually ends up looking before we actually put time and effort into it, because it might not be a big deal. It just makes the message longer than it needs to be, especially for the server-wide polls. Actually, I think if there is no poll and it's not Discord-wide, so it's a server-wide poll, it should still not show anything. So this will only be on my end, whereas anyone making their own polls, they'll be good to go. So, what are we doing with the rerun? We need to take the question string. I mean, we are just copy-pasting this, technically. For I. Yeah, so instead, I want to actually have let pull timestamp. Let the day poll or something. It's so difficult because there's so many variables I'm already using. Let current poll, I guess. But that's not super accurate. I'm just trying to find a thing to replace this right now. So, like, display rerun poll. Otherwise, let the variable equal something else. So let's just do current poll for now. So let current poll will equal rerun.poll. Otherwise, current poll is going to equal poll queue poll number plus 1. Except we need to start thinking about that variable. We need the extra variable so it keeps track of it separately. So we have a queue poll number and a rerun poll number. We want to... actually, we'll keep both of these set to 1. I believe. Or, wait, well... We'll have rerun poll number actually be last rerun poll. So we'll reuse that rerun poll number. Something like that. So instead, we're going to set rerun poll number to equal the rerun poll number, literally. I couldn't name that better than myself. It's literally the same exact thing, but with a dot in the middle. So it'll set that so next time it checks, it won't check the one that it just sent out. But if it didn't use a rerun, then we want to increment the current poll number, the queue poll number, which will be Q++. Except we have to do an equal, I think. Do we? No, I don't think we do. Maybe we do. Actually, no, I don't think so. I keep forgetting if it overrides. I'm pretty sure it does because we're doing it here. I++ is the same as I equals I plus 1. So we just have to do that, and it'll increment by 1. So at that point, now we just have to use queue poll number. Except we actually don't need that. We're already using it up here. So we just have to do current poll. If there's no current poll and it's not Discord wide, then break. So there's no more server wide polls. Don't even bother. If it is Discord wide, but there is no poll, then it'll do all of this stuff. Which will actually break it because if there's no poll, then kinda... we need like a placeholder for that. So difficult. So if it's not Discord wide and there's no current poll, then break. Otherwise, if there just isn't a current poll, then we actually just want question string to equal this. We need to make this a literal. Like that, kind of. A lot of formatting we have to do here. Here, I'll just copy paste this first part. Might be a little easier. So we'll get the poll timestamp. This should still work because it'll just be this day, because I just keeps track of the day. So I is the day. Queue poll number is the poll that we've sent out. Rerun poll number is the reruns that we've sent out. So they should never override each other. So when we get the current poll and it's Discord wide, then it should still say the like date and everything. But I guess it should say nothing there. I guess I could just do a new line, empty, new line. So that's kind of what I do. I just add the question there, but there's no question, so guess we'll leave that like that. Otherwise, if there is a question, we'll do it normally. And because we have current poll now, we don't have to copy, we don't have to repeat any code there. So current poll is getting grabbed it should be overriding and stuff. But we also want to make sure if it is a rerun, we want to make sure there's an indication that it is. So, before we actually set it, I want to do rerun.poll.question, because that's what's going to be displayed. I want the question to have some sort of indicator that's a rerun. So that could be like that could be italics, but I think it'd be a bit better if it was just like a bold R. Something like that. And then plus what it was. So it'll just append a R to the beginning of it, so it doesn't freaking override or rewrite or any of that wild stuff. And hopefully, I think that might be it. So part of this displays the rerun poll. So this doesn't actually display it, it just grabs it. So grab rerun poll if necessary. This section is actually grab poll from queue. And we also have to make sure we're not using poll num anymore, because we should be using queue poll num. Otherwise it won't work, it'll just do an I. And actually, since we're keeping track of queue poll num, I don't think we actually need I, because I is redundant. I keeps track of the date, but date is no longer tied to which poll it is, so we shouldn't be adding by I, because if we skipped a poll for a rerun, then it'll just like, the date will be in one extra and it'll skip over a poll. So this is already incrementing alongside I, so we just kind of keep that. Is I being used anywhere else? Really hard to check because just finds all the I's within everything. It is just being used here and then here. So I think that should be good. I think we might be able to test this out once we get some data in the bot. Because obviously reruns will only work if there's polls in the bot. So I think what we should do, I'll save this. We'll try running the bot just as is. We'll see if that works. Let me open up good old command prompt. There we go. The good old command prompt we have here. We have good old Discord right here. There we go. So, no dot. I'm gonna assume it's gonna error, but it might not. It didn't error. Okay, cool. So, no syntax errors. We're all good there. But we have to test the bot queue. Right now, if I do run it, I believe it'll break. Oh, it actually doesn't. Okay, so you see how there was empty space here now. So current poll, and then empty, 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 empty. So I don't think there's like any reruns for it to grab from. So that might be why it's kind of breaking there. Because technically, I think because UTC Midnight is, and I'm the day before UTC Midnight, so it's checking Monday, Wednesday, Friday of UTC, so it's actually going to be Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday for me. So what we should be seeing is Tuesday, Thursday, actually having a rerun, and then the next Tuesday down here. So let's get some data into the poll, or into the bot. Let's get poll data into the bot. So let me grab some spicy data. I'm gonna do this off screen, assuming it doesn't just randomly show it on screen. Because poll data is, well, I mean, anytime I'd use the data for my own bot, kinda have to be careful because it's privacy. Even though it doesn't really have any, private information, really. It's just a bunch of IDs. But technically, the server poll queues are private information, so... Though, I mean, Fat Cat, I doubt would mind. Unless it was, like, something there. I don't think Fat Cat usually does server polls, though. But I downloaded it. I'm going to open it up. Let me double check. Yeah, I don't think it'll show. Yeah, okay, so it's not going to show, but what I'm doing in the background is I am going to my poll queues, copying and pasting. I'm going to open up the database that we have right now. I'm going to go into that poll queue. I'm going to paste. And now I'm going to go to the last poll, and I'm going to remove it. Just so we don't get any, results. Though, it is pretty close results. I just don't want to show the results. You gotta wait till tomorrow to see them. But, I pasted in the information. I think if I go to coding, it should show database, maybe. There it is. Cool. So we have the database information. I'll apply. I will write the changes. So we have an entire database of every single poll we've run. So, now that we have that, let's try running the bot again. Because maybe this time it'll actually do it. This is just, guess and checking, though, to be honest, but let's see. I also don't know if the bot's gonna, crash with all this data, because it's technically not the poll that I ran and everything, but we'll see. So if we run poll queue, we get a bunch of reruns. So this is all reruns. So is pineapple accessible topping? These are all things that we ran before, except it's running every single day. So that's a little bug that we have right now. But, well, actually, it doesn't say an R in front of it, so it might be thinking... Actually, no. Okay, I know why. I didn't actually change the poll number it's on. So the poll number the dev bot's typically on is 1, because there's only like 1 or 2 polls in the default data. I just added 600 polls, so it's all the way at the beginning. It assumes that, all these polls are queued up and ready to go. But we actually want reruns, so I'm gonna go to the database, which I can now show because there's no spicy data in it. So if I go to coding, here's the database that we have right now. We have bot data, current poll 0. So I think it's on the is water wet poll right now. And then is pineapple whatever on pizza. I think that's the second poll or whatever. So we have to change current poll to however many polls we're on right now. Let me check. Yeah, we're on poll 595 right now. So I think if we just change it to 595, or 594 actually, or 596. I forget how that calculation goes. Let me check real quick. Let me get all this stuff off the screen real quick. Close this. Close the database. Time loop manages the statistics. So polls to date is poll count. Poll count is current poll plus 1. Okay. So we just need 594. So I am going to edit that. Current poll, 594. We apply it. If the bot was still running, it would technically automatically apply this. This is one of the things that isn't in memory at all times. So I could change the database while the bot's running, and it'll update automatically because it always grabs the database for stuff. But I can't change the code because the code gets saved in memory, so I'd have to restart the bot for that. So let's go back to dev poll commands. What we should see is hopefully some reruns, but I anticipate there's probably going to be a bug or two. Or 5, you know how it is. So Discord, let's open up command prompt. And let's see. Database is taking a hot minute to initialize. SQLite is busy. Okay, it might be because I have, oh. It's because I didn't write the changes. Okay. So what I did here, I opened it up, I applied it, but I didn't write the changes, so it still thinks that, like, it's waiting to apply it, so it holds the database hostage. Let's write those changes, and it should work now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you saw there it was waiting for the database, but it was just kept waiting and timed out, which is probably something you could configure, but it was just waiting and I was using it. So now what we should, I don't know actually what we're going to see. Let's see. Let us see what we're going to see. The same thing. Okay. And current poll is empty right now. That's a little concerning. Interesting. Okay, let's look at the code real quick. Because something will probably have gone wrong here. Let me close all this. Okay. So, poll. Let's just walk through and see what it's doing right now. So, current poll is poll queue, poll number. I suppose poll number... let's double check again. Yeah, current poll. I guess there wasn't a poll there. It's kind of strange. I think... Oh, it's because I deleted the current poll, I believe. I think I should have it at 593, because I deleted the current poll because that one had results in it. So, that's why. So I think 593 should fix that issue. But let's also... Well, you know what? Let's go through this real quick, because it did show a bunch of stuff, but it didn't show it as a rerun. So let's take a look at what might be happening. So, it is the current poll. We should probably fix that. We'll see. So then we have queue poll number equal 1. Oh, that's the issue there. It's actually supposed to be poll number. It shouldn't be queue poll number, because 1 is the beginning of the frickin' queue. I think that might fix it. That might be the issue that we had. So let's check again. Discord. Open up command prompt again. This is actually technically not command prompt. This is technically Windows Terminal, by the way, but I always just say command prompt. So, poll queue. Okay. Do you enjoy parties? That was the last poll, so we're on last poll now. We did fix that issue, but it isn't displaying any reruns. So let's kind of analyze our code and see what's going on there. So poll date. If rerun days includes poll date. So what we could do let's console.log pull date and make sure that function's actually doing it correctly. So, because it might be broken. We might be passing in the wrong thing. We might be returning the wrong thing. We'll see. Oh, wait, you know what? Oh, I'm kind of dumb. I remember when we made this get pull date, we're returning the date object. We're not actually returning the day of the week. So we actually have to do get UTC date. That is the pull date. So if we rerun, I just realized, the terminal's in the way, but I just, changed this tab here. UTC date. So open that up, go to Discord again. Pull queue. Okay, so still the same issue. We still don't see anything right now. I also didn't include the console.log, so I'm going to do that real quick in the background because that's not the biggest issue. And then I'm going to rerun. So once we run this, we should see like 10 different prints of days. They all say 20. Okay. I see what it's doing. Or do I? Do I see what it's doing? Maybe I don't. Why would it return 20? Because now I'm thinking, okay, it's actually thinks I'm thinking about the day of the month, which is literally that. UTC day is day of the week. Okay, I just named the function incorrectly. Simple human error. As per usual. Try it again. Okay, so now we're just getting all 2s. So now we know that's an issue with the either parameters that we passed in there or the function itself. So get pull date, it's returning I, passing in I. Within get pull date, we get the current day timestamp, relative position times that. Okay, I know the issue. This is that in seconds. When we pass in a value to date, it actually has to be in milliseconds, so we have to add another 1000 to it. That should solve that issue. They're all, it's always guess and check, for me at least. There's, what else could you do? If I do pull Q again. Ooh, look at that! Spicy! So, we got it to work. This works. Yeah, it's all good. Except the formatting's kind of gross because it's a bold number next to bold. It's like, okay, I can't really tell the difference now, but that is a working pull queue. First try. Not first try, but pretty close to first try. We didn't have any major bugs we had to fix. That's pretty cool. So, Monday. So the rerun runs on Monday. Interesting. Okay. So it might be offset by a day. I don't know. I think that might be because 3, 4, 5, 6. So the days that we actually have over here are days 1, 3, and 5. So if we look at that, 1, 3, and 5 here, 3, 5, and then 2 days, 1. So it thinks my Monday is a Tuesday? Or a Thursday? Or, frick, I'm saying the wrong thing. It's thinking my Monday's a Wednesday. UTC, which is a little strange. There might be some weird offset here. Because while it's technically correct right now, it is assuming this is UTC Friday, which is not correct, because it should be UTC Thursday this day. Because we know that because there's 2 extra days, we don't do it on the weekends, and then it goes back on Monday, which is actually a Saturday. So a little strange. But we have the base function working. We have reruns. They're all acceptable reruns. They're all labeled. And we just have gaps where there's no poll. So what could we do here? One thing that might be useful is like maybe if we just removed the 2s, because they are labeled with a number and a date. So what if I just removed like 2 and then 4 and 5? So it's just like, if there's reruns, then it's just 1, 3, 6. That might make it look a bit better. And then we also want to change this, but then we also need to figure out why the date is strange right now. So let's change those things real quick. So reruns. This looks bad because there's bold over bold and just doesn't fit. So perhaps we could either change the look of the entire thing by like underlining it or something, or we could just put the label at the end, or we could just literally append the text rerun and just not have it be bold. That'll probably work best. Just say rerun. So that fixes that issue, but we need the date issue. So it gets the current date, but it's not accurate. It's like 2 days off, or technically 1 day off. Or, well, no, I think it is 2 days off. Because technically the next poll should be Monday. Though technically the poll was Monday, so there should be a gap and then... So I think it's actually 1 day off. So what might be happening is maybe because we neglected to add a check if it's already sent, that maybe... I don't know, because it already works as is. I'm not actually completely sure what is causing it to be 1 day off. Because get full date. It's the same exact thing that's going on here. So when there's no send times, it's doing this. And that's what the current, the Discord-wide poll queue is always doing, because there's never send times for that. And we can see that it worked because I didn't pass in send times. I explicitly didn't, because I set send times to equal null up here. So we know that it's running that, and the times are correct for that. We know for sure those times are correct. So that should be correct calculation here. And then we add the relative position. We do, however, make it into milliseconds. Current day timestamp. Actually, I think that might have to be times 1,000. I think the current day timestamp also is in seconds. I think that's why we're having our issues here. Because I think instead of it being offset, I think it just randomly took whatever hell day it's on. Because milliseconds, if you remove milliseconds from it, it can really be freaking any day. If we're being honest here. Like if you did just input the day in seconds for the date object, it'd probably be in like 19 dickety 2 or whatever. So not that late, but you get what I mean. So let's I already changed that, right? Yeah, I fixed that. So that should be the 2 issues we had. So we just go back to Discord and we rerun and we pull Q. Look at that. That's a working rerun system, except it doesn't actually rerun. It just shows, this is just pull Q. All of that work was just so I could see what reruns are coming up. But it works. It's working right now. So yeah, we just have a bunch of stuff here. We don't necessarily need a space between them. That's an easy fix as well. I could literally just go in here and be like, okay, just don't add this part. Just get rid of that if there's nothing there. And then I could rerun it. And it should be formatted a little nicer this way. It doesn't look the best, but we could either just remove it entirely too. But you get the gist. So there's no poll tomorrow, but there is a rerun the next day. And technically, if there is no poll, then it will be a rerun anyways. So, you know, all that stuff. And I am able to see all the reruns. It also just told me hour 4 completed. I coded it in to say when the hours complete, so I always know, you know, what time it is. So I can keep tabs on the bot so it doesn't do wacky stuff, because I've been having the issues with it being offset for some reason. I still haven't figured out that issue. It just randomly happens. Like the bot gets like 10 minutes ahead of time somehow. So it sends the poll 10 minutes earlier than UTC midnight. I don't know why that happened. It was kind of strange, but it wasn't a big issue because luckily the bot didn't reboot between that time, so it didn't run in hour 0 again. Because when the bot starts up, it is on a proper time always, so who knows? I just have to get a better system maybe for keeping track of the time. But we do have reruns. There are a few more functions we need to do with reruns though. Like quite a few. So one being, obviously time loop also has to check what day it is. It effectively is going to do the same exact thing as poll is right here. It's going to check the rerun days. It's going to check the current date. And then it will go through here. And it'll send a rerun instead of the poll that's queued. So we'll save that poll. And in order to do that, you know, I'll have to put the poll in between the rerun, I mean, in between the next poll. So, little bit of weirdness, but it should work because I don't think anything's actually tied to that except the poll queue, except when it sends, so it should be good there. I do have a lot of to-dos here. Refactor send poll to send a pre-made embed. Don't call the database every time. Yeah. Where is this? Oh, this isn't test. Oh, test is old as hell. Yeah, so I've been using dev test to check for the poll time being sent, but I just recently made that a automatic function. So poll test is kind of redundant now. It's also outdated because, you know, this is the exact copy of what's going on in time loop, so it got outdated over time. Like, for instance, it doesn't pin anything, whereas time loop does. So I don't think I need dev test, really. Like, honestly, I'll just delete that. get rid of that. So we can, put whatever we need to test in there when it comes to time. Could do add current server-wide poll. True. I should do that sometime. But let's find the ones that I added here. Add /poll queue paging. I never actually did that. I forgot about that. Yeah, so that's another thing. That one's not very pressing because you can see up to 9 at a time already, and that's a lot, so. And you could do poll view anyways. That doesn't matter, but that'd be a good addition. Yeah, poll add is the one that we need a lot of work on, because we need to add a button to specify whether to reuse the poll or not. So if it's a holiday specific poll, I'll say don't reuse it, and it will not ever be rerun. Then we also need a overwrite option in case we want to send a poll a specific day, which is going to be kind of difficult. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but that one's probably big brain. I'll probably do it off stream, And then option to skip a rerun and increment it so it doesn't send when what it was planned to. Yeah, so this one's kind of simple as well. No, this one's complicated. This one's simple. This one's also simple. This one just basically needs us to check what the next rerun position is, which we already have a function for, and we'll set the bot data to that. So, quite simple. We just need a command to do that, which I don't actually know how I'll implement yet. I might have it as a /dev command, who knows. But I think we should implement this like super quickly, because this should be pretty simple to add. I hope. It might not actually be, because it's in poll handler as well, but we'll see. So we need to add a button to specify whether or not to reuse the poll. So how this works is that it prompts poll creation in the poll handler, so they handle all that stuff. So it grabs the new poll, it grabs the message of it, and then we end up just editing the message to be all that. So we need to edit prompt create poll. So in here we have the entire prompt. So it prompts for the poll message, it awaits the response. It translates it into a poll, then it sends a demo poll. Then we wait for a button response. This is where we need our extra button. So where are the buttons? They're right here. So we need to make sure it still works for, like, the normal server-wide polls, so it gets, again, a little complicated, but what we should be able to do is we should be able to do something like, I'll just comment this out so we don't have to deal with it. I'll get a button action row builder, but I won't add anything to it yet. I will then check if we're a Discord-wide poll, then we want 2 different buttons. We want buttons.add components, and then we add the array like this. Uncomment this if I can. There we go. So we'll have a yes and a no and whatever, but we'll always have the no. The no's always going to be there. So buttons.add components will always have the no. But the difference between Discord-wide and normal is that normal will just have the yes. Otherwise, Discord-wide is going to have like a yes reusable, and a yes non-reusable. So we'll have a success, we'll have a primary. So what these are, this is just the color of the button. Success is green, primary is blue. Or blurple, sorry. So green will be reusable. We'll have an extra button, non-reusable. And for that one, we'll actually label it non-reusable. And that should be that. We just have to then interpret it. So, it waits for the response. Once it gets a response, if it's no, then it doesn't get added. However, if it's yes, if it's response custom ID, yes underscore non-reusable, then for the new poll that we just created, we want to add the non-reusable tag. And that, I think that's literally as basic as it gets. Because it doesn't even have to check if it's a yes, it just has to check that's not a no. That's literally what this prompt does, because there's no other buttons you could press. So if it's non-reusable, just add that flag, pass it in as if it was a yes. And that should... That was really simple. That should add those prompts properly. It will all have the same generic message, which kind of sucks, because then you can't really obviously tell unless you always remember it, but... Open Twitter and people are going ham on stream. Yeah, I figured. Like I said, kind of a Twitter argument sort of thing, huh? Get pulled timestamp. It's insisting that get pulled timestamp has no effect. But it does, doesn't it? Get pulled timestamp? Could have sworn get pulled timestamp didn't await in here, did it? Oh, I guess not. Okay, we actually don't need a wait here. It was actually useful for once. Cool. Someone said he looked like Lord Farquaad. Yeah, the chin. Chin. And he kept turning his face, I don't know. He never showed the left side of his face. I think that was just like a speaking to the camera thing first time. But like, I don't know, kind of strange. Like one comment that I actually sent to someone that, mentioned it, I thought was really funny. It was some guy on the video who said, "Do we gotta wait for a reveal of the other side of his face too?" That was pretty good. I liked that comment. That was the first thing that I saw. But I think we already have the poll creation thing created. That was literally all we had to do. We just have to add that flag. So, let's try it out. Let me go back. Discord. Rerun. Flash poll add. Cool. At everyone votes. And we can add melting face now. Take a look at that. Ooh. Also shows all the stickers that I have. Leafeon embed fail. Colonel Tynan. That's from RimWorld. Okay. But we can have special new emotes now, and... Oh, wait, no, I didn't even actually put in a question, that's why. My bad. Hold on, let me add a question. Oops, I didn't actually copy-paste it, I just still have this copy-pasted. Hold on. By the way, if you press edit, press Control A and then Control C, that's an easy way to preserve formatting. Because I think sometimes if you copy-paste that, it just copy-pastes the text. It doesn't actually copy-paste the ping. That's just a pro tip. Then that. I did the same exact thing. I'm so dumb. I need to add a goddamn question to it. Question. There we go. Cool. So we have 2 new buttons now. Or kind of 1 new button. So yes, reusable, yes, non-reusable, or no. It's also kind of strange. It's bigger than usual for some reason. Usually I don't think the no button's usually that big. I have no clue though. So we could specify, yes, it's non-reusable. And now it adds the poll, and now we have poll at question 1. We check poll view, question 1, question. For just demonstration purposes, poll view question 2. Despite it saying that there's kind of a question there, it's still, you know, it's a rerun. There's no poll there. All the comments are like, it's honestly, it's insane. Yeah. He's really pale. Is he? I don't know. I thought he was just like typical. I don't know. I don't really pay attention all that much to it. All I had to say, or my first opinion was like, oh, he looks better than I imagined. That's about it. And then the other thing was that he was turning his face weirdly at the camera. It kind of reminded me of the troll face. Not that he made a troll face, but like the kind of like, you know, positioning of the troll face. That was kind of his positioning. But yeah, we have that working. And to double check, we'll go into coding again, and we'll check if it actually added that flag, because that's the last thing we have to really know for sure. So we go in here, we check, non-reusable, true. So the new poll that we added is non-reusable. I no longer have to manually do it. Perfect. Beautiful. That freaking change, it only took freaking a couple minutes. That was very satisfying. So, add button to specify not to reuse the poll. Done diddly. I am also curious. We haven't actually tested if the backup rerun works. So, if I go to Discord again, I think the bot's still running. Yeah, it is. So, poll queue. We have a question, but then we don't have anything. We have a rerun here. So, my curiosity, what we need to test is that, is it gonna run a rerun? Is it gonna work? And is it gonna run this rerun? Twitter's ruthless. Yeah, I know, right? That's why I don't touch it. Because it's always drama there, too. Yeah, they don't have any filter over at Twitter, except for, you know, alt-right. I mean, fair enough, but yeah. But I need to do dev new hour 0, which sends the new question. Vote on it. And then if I do it again, will it send a rerun? No, it breaks. Okay. So we haven't actually tested the rerun. I assumed it wouldn't just work like that. But cannot read properties of undefined. Reading is backup. Undefined. Reading is backup. Cannot read properties of undefined. So that implies that poll queue poll number is undefined. Time loop 371. Yeah, we'll just guess and check with this now. So we can get this working. Calling him Sid from Toy Story, Half Moon Face, Spiderus. I don't know what Spiderus is, but yeah. Very, very typical. I don't know, Twitter always does that. They always make fun of, like, everything. Like, oh, face reveal, haha, ugly, or whatever. Major, you know, tragedy happened, haha, funny. Yeah, it's always the same stuff. That's why I kind of like Reddit more. Reddit's kind of still the same, sort of, but Reddit, you know, actually has communities that moderate that shit, so they don't, you know, have crappy stuff. And you follow ideas rather than people, which I prefer a lot more. That's why I am a Redditor. No. But I do prefer Reddit a lot more, and that's my browsing. That's the only social media that I kind of use. Other than YouTube, which is technically a social media, according to everyone votes. Sure, alright. Social media, YouTube, and Twitch, kind of, I guess. And, well, not Discord. Discord's not really. Discord's a chatting platform, it's not social media. But I was looking for the rerun part of a poll. Right here. Let rerun equal that. It was 337, actually. Or, wait, what was it? Hold on. It was 371. Okay, so the error happened right here. Is backup. So checked whether to send the poll or free response. It checks if the poll queue is not a backup. And that errored. But poll queue poll number is now the newest poll. Right? Right? Did I increment poll number before this? Let's see. So poll num. No, I didn't. Oh, you see that? Or wait, no, I did. Reruns down here. So it increments +1. So the next poll gets overridden with poll number. Wait, so shouldn't it just be... Actually, we don't need poll number here then, do we? This should actually be... This is overriding the actual rerun poll with the same exact thing. This should actually be just normal poll num. And poll, apparently I made a change in here, I guess. Let's restart. So if we check poll queue, we have no current poll. That might actually break things. Let's see if that just breaks. Time loop 221. Yeah, poll queue poll number 221. That's all the way at the results section, I believe. No, this is poll handler. 221. Yeah, this is get poll results. Yep. Yeah, so if there's no current poll, which should never ever happen, if there was no current poll for a Discord-wide poll, there could be a no current poll for a server-wide. That's completely fine. But for a Discord-wide, then everything just blows up, basically. There should probably be a check for that, though. Honestly, if there is no current poll, something went wrong. So if no poll queue poll num. So notice that this is before we increment poll num, so there should always be a current poll. But if there isn't, just in case, just so we don't get in a boot loop, because what I have the bot do, if it crashes, typically it would reboot again, but it would just error again because it would try to get this again, because it retroactively runs it. So instead, I want it to just return. I don't want it to do jack shit. I don't want it to break more. So it'll return if there's no current poll, but that should never happen. But if it were to, you know, there you go. It should technically also notify me, but I mean, I guess I could add that. I already have that in commands here. Where do I have that? DM error text. Yeah. Let me just copy paste that in here. Just to have it. I don't think this should ever run, but just in case. I'll just have the bot DM me, telling me there is no current poll for hour 0. Something went horribly wrong. And then let me add a little sad Pika emote or something. Hold on, let me do this one. I'm just going to Discord. I'm just using this one. This is what the text of a emote looks like, by the way. Go into coding. There we go. Just in case that happens, then I'll be really sad. But it'll DM me and it won't break. That's the good part. Just won't break. But I think it would just break in general, because it'll probably look for a reaction or something. I don't know. I think message reaction add might always assume that there's a poll. Maybe. Current poll. Actually, it just returns, actually, so I don't think it would break there, but just, you know, just in case. So, what I need to do is I need to, because, you know, it broke the last time, it didn't actually select the rerun properly. We have to go into the database real quick to fix that issue. Essentially, all we have to do is we just have to set this to, like, freaking 593, I'd say. Or probably 594. So, oh yeah, so I need to apply and write changes, then I can close it. Cool. So, now if we go to Discord, run the bot, and we do poll queue, we see that we're on question again. So we just reverted the bot back to question. So there's no rerun queued, but there should be a rerun backup. So the rerun backup should technically be, what should a tomato be classified as? Which actually, it did actually increment properly. Because it used to be what, you know, the pineapple on pizza thing. So let me actually hot swap the database real quick. So on the database, you know, last rerun poll, you can see is 9 now. I actually want to set that to like 1 real quick, and then write changes. And if we go back to Discord, that will I'm messing up so many words right now. Dynamically update. So now it's, do you own your own Discord server? Minecraft or Terraria? Are these really all the way at the beginning? Interesting. Yeah, let's actually check. Is that all the way at the beginning? Poll queues. I thought that was way later. Well, we did incorrectly overwrite this one, so this one actually did break here. But, you know, we can overwrite this again. Pineapple, accessible recording. I prefer to watch streams. Rerun. Uh-oh. Rerun. Uh-oh. I think it's overwriting something in the actual poll queue. Unless I fix that already and I just already did the damage, so I have to repaste the data to get a fresh copy. Pull. There shouldn't be anything actually overriding stuff, should there? Sorry, pull handler. Back to the get next rerun. So if we look at this, it's not overriding anything. Database never changes here. We just get the pull queue. Yeah, we just take a reference from the pull queue. We don't actually change it. And then we bring it over to pull queue in here, which is above add apparently. Yeah. So in here, we also just have to make sure we're not overriding stuff. Because if the queue is overriding stuff, that's a big bad, a fucko boingo, you know? My vocabulary is very interesting. Sometimes I just go completely bonkers and I just say random stuff like that. I mean, to be fair, I do really like, it's kind of funny to say. I really like saying it. But, you know, I gotta hold back a little bit so it comes as a surprise. That's how you gotta do things. If you always say, like, weird stuff, then it's not funny anymore. You say it sometime, you sprinkle it in, then you get the funnies. Sorry, I am going crazy, don't worry. I don't think it's overwriting anything in here. I don't even think it calls the database after this point, does it? Get queue embed. It doesn't. I don't think it does, at least. Database get row. Yeah, so it seemed... I think I probably fixed that issue, and we just have to redo the data. So I just have to copy paste the data again. But while we still have the bot running, we're still on question. Let's do dev new hour. Let's see if it actually works. So do you own your own Discord server? I don't know if it's going to do that rerun, but let's see. Have you ever tried virtual reality? It worked. So by us are. Technically that should be that should change. This should be by the polling team, but my acronym for it within the actual bot itself is I just say by us and I make it replace us with the polling team. But I need to change that because I append the R to it. Wait, I don't actually have to. But let's just double check. Everything does work. This is an actual poll. Have you ever tried virtual reality? The reruns have incremented. If I do it again, will I get what type of milk is best? No. Okay. But we are getting reruns now. I am also realizing the results are being copied over. These are the old results. We have to change that too. Let's go to coding. That's a simple change. We just have to get next rerun. We need to make sure possible poll dot results for each, maybe. I don't know if this will work. I've never usually used for each, but we need to change every single result to a 0 again. And we need to change possible poll.voters to 0. So results. I'll just do the way I know. I know a for loop is a lot easier. Because for each, I don't know why, but for each just like never wants to work for me ever. So let's do for result of possible poll dot results. Possible poll dot results. Actually, we need an I, so we actually need to change this. It has to be a let I equals 0. I is less than possible poll dot results dot length. I plus plus. And then we just set each one of those 0. That should fix that issue. I do have to restart the bot for it to work again. But let's see if that fixes it. So poll queue should still be the same poll because database, it saves everything, everything's good. But dev new hour 0. It will say the results still because it doesn't retroactively do it. Yeah, so that's the same results there. But if I do it again, this supposedly should have no results. No one voted on the poll. Perfect. Wow. So reruns kind of flippin' work right now. They don't work accurately. The poll queue is not aligned with it for some reason. Like, the poll queue is on if you could go anywhere, where would you move away from where you live now? Whereas this one is going to actually take how many emails do you have? We might be able to pinpoint that down, though, real quick. Because this is something I am going to look into on my own time. I might as well do it here. So, I see this discrepancy. So I need to look and see, okay, so what poll is it grabbing right now? So if I open up the database, and we go to poll queues, or let's check poll data real quick. So we're on 34 right now. So, poll queues. So the poll that it sent was how many emails do you have? So we could look for that. How many emails? So we have this question right here. This is the question that it did send, but the one that it was supposedly going to send was, if you could go anywhere, would you move away from where you live now? So where is that one in comparison to this one? Is what we need to figure out. Also, this is labeled non-reusable for some reason. I think maybe I labeled it non-reusable. Maybe, did I change a check? Is it only using the non-reusable ones? A little strange. I wish it minimized it when I minimized it. I have to actually close it for it to go away. And did I do the checking correctly? If the poll is not non-reusable, if it is reusable, so it should be doing the proper polls, but it selected a non-reusable poll, which is very strange. Very, very strange. It also set non-reusable to true. Weird. Okay, so I think maybe we still have an issue with it, like, overwriting the current poll. Is it still doing that? We have time loop here, and we have rerun, but rerun only updates the poll number, or the poll queue. And then last rerun poll equals the poll number. That seems good. But that's kind of weird. A little strange. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Because it seems like it overwrote the whole in the history, because that was the first occurrence of it. And that was very early on. That was, that should not have been touched. It might still be a bad data thing because we accidentally edited it in previous iterations. But it couldn't be edited anymore. Especially by pull Q. Pull Q shouldn't be doing crap. So, I'm not too sure. But I think I'll continue testing it offline. Because we do have the two main functions that I need. If I could get these two main functions to work, I could push it out to the bot, and then we have infinite pulls, kind of, somewhat. But we have reruns then. And then I just have to add, eventually, the rerun feature, which doesn't actually, function right now. So if I had a pull there, it's not going to rerun a pull if it's, the rerun day at this very moment. But in order to add all that, I'd have to add the overwrites and stuff. So right now we have a good base for it, because if we have the backups, then it's technically still, able to do reruns properly. So if I get this working, that's pretty darn good. But yeah, I'll test this offline. I don't know if I'll do it tonight. Who knows? I'm kind of tired and hungry. I only ate a sandwich today, and that was it. But I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, evening, afternoon, or morning. Sukadia.dev/hub for updates on this bot and literally everything else I do. Uploaded a new video that was really funny on the YouTube. I don't know, that one happened because I do VR chat recordings for the LPD, so doing spicy stuff there. But yeah, appreciate you for stopping by, and hopefully I'll get this bot working. I'll update you then.